Greetings, gulls, and welcome back to another episode of Starfleet Command. Orion Pirates Mod. I'm Rear Admiral Tarek of the Battleship Infiltrator, as we continue our campaign against most of neutral shipping. And last time, well, we got our battleship built back together, so the Infiltrator is once again in one piece. I believe actually we're at 2 full fighter squadrons as well. We just have a little bit of extra damage on us. Yes, we're full fighter squadrons, a little bit of damage. Most of the ship is ready to go, so with that in mind, let us set out into space to see if we can't find a little bit of trouble to wrestle up. We don't want to do anything sort of too dangerous, mainly because I'd like to get this battleship out of friendly space. In order to do that, I must get through the narrow passage, which has become the Gorn and Romulan borders, which, you know, good on us for having managed to secure that particular area of space, but it is a little bit dangerous. We've got a freighter and a frigate and a light cruiser and a freighter already, so this could get interesting. Depending on what these ships are potentially equipped with will determine whether or not we want to really engage them head on, or rather who we want to send our fighters to engage head on and hopefully not die. If this frigate is totally undefended, I may actually send the fighters off in his direction to utterly annihilate him, and if not, well, then we'll have to set off over into this direction, and hopefully he doesn't have any sort of point defense systems. We are, of course, going to need to remember to prepare ourselves a wild weasel, very important piece of equipment that'll keep us alive from the potential plasma torpedoes that this ship could potentially have. Alright, so we should have a good enough for a probe, so we'll launch the probe as we sort of head away from the rest of the convoy. We will protect you, no worries. Although the last time that the ship almost got annihilated, we were also in an ambushed convoy situation. So that's a thing. Let's get ready to launch all the fighters, because he does have an AMS, but I think I can kill him. I think I can kill him in one pass, and so I shall try. I'm going to launch all of my fighter squadrons, so 16 fighters in total, and hopefully we'll be able to beat the ever-loving crap out of them. PPDs are ready to rock and or roll. Unfortunately, the rest of the weapon systems, not so much. I do not have a probe ready just yet, but I would like to have one soon. Fire the probe? There we go, the probe was ready. Because you are potentially threatening my fighter squads, and I don't want to deal with that. So you have basically nothing that I need to worry about. Alright, the Battle Charge, an excellent name for that ship, considering what it is you're attempting to do to me right now. Hopefully you're going to die, because I have a lot of firepower. Although, well, your buddy over here is not doing anything too dangerous so far. You have deployed a couple of interceptors, which I will attempt to deal with. First, while Weasel is ready, we're obviously going to start a second. And we did not overload the shields. Fire the PPD. Good chunky damage. Alright, so the first of them is dead, which is lovely. Let's come along and make sure that our shields are reinforced now, because otherwise we may take a ton of damage and we don't want to. How you doing over there, little guys? Did you kill the target? Looks like it. Lovely. Okay, target him, and actually all fighters come home. Or potentially all fighters attack. Oh crap, that's going to be a lot of damage. Yeah, all fighters attack.
We are going in.
So you can also attack. Only half paying attention to what I'm doing is probably a very bad strategy on trying to win this game. Because I'm trying to click the little buttons. Wee little buttons. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select... First I'm going to slow down time. I'm going to select you, and you, and you, and you. I probably should have done this before. Enjoy my plasma, sir. So 4 plasma F torpedoes right on into his face. And he responded exactly how I figured he would. Where he immediately attempted to crash stop, and now I will have some time to drift on away. Hopefully to get away from his plasma. I could, however, wallow and make a nice little turn over here. And I'm going to need my starboard side plasma, or no, my port side plasma torpedo, I'm sorry. And we're going to fire some plasma off in that direction. Oh, these guys, I gotta fix this. I don't know how to fix them, but I have to figure out a way. So our fighter squadron's zipping on in, hopefully able to cause a nice little bit of damage. Once they get into Gatling phaser range is when the fun's really going to begin. Because they should have a nice easy time of just absolutely ruining their party. PPD kicking on, gonna just stream damage, and slow down the speed of time. This is very important, this is very, very, very important. Darn it, I didn't do it in time! You have to bring all your fighters home. Because if you manage to get all your fighters back on board when the mission ends, they go back up to maximum strength. Which is a little bit broken, but still. So, the convoy got finished without a single loss. Unfortunately, I lost a lot of fighters on that one. I believe I did anyway. Oh, you're broken. I can't fix you. I'm going to have to take a hit. Oh, wow. I lost a lot of fighters. I can't even afford to bring them all back to full strength. That sucks. Alright, so we're hanging around home for a little bit. We need to basically just rebuild our fighter complement. It's a very important thing for us, actually, in order to get a full fighter complement, because a lot of our firepower is actually dictated by that. The game is going to try and balance based on the full firepower that we bring to the table, and oh my god! Those are King Condors. Oh, we have the expediter with us. so we get to see another one of our dreadnoughts. Oh, they look so big. That's terrifying. Enveloping plasma torpedoes. So this is the most powerful warbird in the entire game at the moment. So yeah, that's not. I'm not feeling very happy about that. Oh no, they're the Derricks classes because I've been modifying the Romulan fleet a little bit. Oh, this is not pleasant for any of us. Well, actually, no, for them it's going to be great because they can just completely overwhelm us with firepower. A single medium dreadnought, I mean, nice, but these Stardogs are dead. Like, they're not surviving what's about to come our way. Because I don't think we can kill them in time. King Condors do have inbuilt Plasma D defenses, so I can't even get my fighters through for free. They're going to die, and then when dreadnoughts explode, they explode with just a truly insane amount of damage. And so I can't rely on that either. So my fighters can kill one set. That's it. That's not good. Let's make sure that are we preparing wild weasels? We're not. That is a very poor life choice, in case you were wondering. I'm gonna get all you guys out, and you're gonna desperately try and kill this guy before he can do anything to you. That is gonna be the way that we're gonna have to run this, because there's just no other way. We can't fight two of them. Not with what we currently have at our disposal. I mean, yeah, we're technically a battleship carrier, but we are not on their league. They outmass us, they outgun us. It's just not gonna be pretty. So I'm gonna sort of settle alongside with them and maybe absorb a little bit of firepower as long as they're sort of just spitting it out at me. I would like to get up to speed, and I'm gonna kind of need to just so I can run. Running is going to be very important into the success of this mission, or failure, as the case may be. So we're going to need a lot of power into the speed, and there's the D-type plasma torpedoes already engaging. And I shall engage with my PPDs. I actually got a really good hookup on that one. Oh, they're so glorious! Oh, the prosecutor's zipping on in. What are you? Oh, you're my little raider. Alright, come on home. Whoever's managed to survive, yeah, you're mostly dead. Oh my god, how are any of you alive? Alright, so we killed one in titanically awesome fashion, but now we need to extend, give me some time to rebuild and repair my fighters. That helped even the odds rather considerably. However, if they just go right on for the starbase, they're going to kill us all. So he's circling around. I'm going to see if I can't maneuver for some advantage on this one. He's starting to open fire with his plasma torpedoes. Yeah, these Derricks are not something that you want to mess with. And luckily for us, they wasted basically all of their firepower. So that'll work out nicely. I'm going to start to slow down, let my torts and my whatever's left of the torts and the injunctions back, and we're going to set ourselves up for a nice little long-range engagement, because trying to get on top of the enemy is demonstrably suicidal. So come on home, little guys, and show me my fighter reassignment. Alright, they're working on it fairly quickly, so hopefully they will be ready to go. I don't want to launch them at a target that is flying away from me. I think that would be very bad, just in terms of efficiency and how much damage I can deal. However, I am in a fairly decent position to attack them broadside. I'm going to go 4 points of power into the electronic countermeasure, see if I can't just make sure that I have a decent accurate shot on the target. Looks like they're also attempting to slowly break down. Yeah, there goes the last of the pseudo frigates. Now we do of course need to remind that this vessel is capable of full-on cloaking, which not great. Oh, we've got quite a few good beam hookups. He underloaded, unfortunately, which does not work out great. I'm going to launch a plasma torpedo off in his direction, as long as he's going to keep coming toward me. I can actually probably force him to break off. Oh, that's a crash stop. That's a crash stop, and we hit him anyway. So that's actually really nice. So the AI being a little bit derpy on that one, and has made it so that I can basically zigzag on out of here and utilize my I-type plasma torpedoes should I choose to. I'd rather not. If I have any choice of the matter, I'd like to just continue to engage from maximum range. And I'd also like not to risk my fighters. Looks like, yeah, he's probably dead. If he's not dead, he's about to take a rather significant chunk of damage. We are in front of him, however, and he does have a whole bunch of R-type plasma torpedoes, so that's going to be less than healthy for us to deal with. So that was very much a siege plasma torpedo, but it did manage to cause damage all around the vessel. And the reason why I classified it as like a siege shot is because we fired from a range of 15, which is about where we normally sit when we want to siege somebody out. I don't want to get anywhere near you, and that turn angle is not good. God, that little... I forget what this thing is called, but That is such a good-looking dreadnought. I think I picked a really good ship for the medium dreadnought. Alright, hi, buddy. I'm gonna kill you. So... 1, 2, 3. Because I think he's dealt with. I think the Federavis is going to be already killed thanks to the friendly other dreadnoughts. I just want to remove him from the equation because I don't want to risk anything. So it should be fairly easy for them to kill. I mean, they have the Gatling phasers for the job. And I will pitch in my own phasers. My weak little phaser barrage. I have some plasma Fs. And target Federavis. Bad hookup on 2, 3. Finally got a little bit of shots on him. And he did attempt a crash stop on that one. So that's lucky. And I'll have another SI plasma torpedo off a starboard turn. And he's turning on into me, which I do need to be very, very careful about, because the amount of damage he can deal to me can add up real quick. Also, the amount of time it takes me to stop from this speed is quite huge. But that's a crash stop on him. Okay, so I can't get out of here. So defender down. Let's call the fighters home again.
Returning now.
Return to me.
Affirmative.
Get back on board my ship so that you can respawn back into full health. I'm just sort of zigzagging away from the Tadarics. I thought that we were dead. And then the fighters just sort of MVP'd it and came in and annihilated everything, which was beautiful. And I often underestimate fighters for many reasons, but I should not be. Come on home. Please. Come on home.
Returning now.
You know what? As long as you're set and ordered to return, you will pop back to me as soon as the Federavis explodes. Yeah, that Tadarics actually looks really good. Alright, one of our defenders has been downed. Luckily for us, it was not the big important one, which is, of course, the medium dreadnought. And us, I suppose. I suppose we are the most important vessel currently on the field at the moment. And I'm going to have a fairly decent shot on this one. Slow down a little bit. I don't want to get too close, although his charging is a little bit not in good condition at the moment. And he does not have any sort of plasma torpedo defense. His shuttle bay's offline. Missed a hookup, but it looks like all the other ones beamed onto it afterwards. Some really solid shots on that one. We're getting up our starboard side plasma torpedo onto the target. Yeah, he's currently glitched, but as long as he's set to return home, he'll do it properly. This might actually kill him. There it goes. As you heard the little swooshing sound, that's the sound of fighters returning. Alright, not terrible. Not terrible at all. So we get to come on home nice and safe and sound, and everything is perfect. Not a single issue with that one. 450 prestige, which will give us just enough to repair all of our fighters. Yeah, we lost all of this group and some of this group. So less than ideal. I still can't fix that. Still can't fix it. Get myself some more spare parts because we're going to need them. I just want to get the ship back up to full strength. And it is very expensive to do that. Just always skulking around the bottom. Eventually we will get enough to actually go aggressive once more. And I can't take either, well, I don't want to take either of these missions. One of them is a convoy escort, which I'm not a huge fan of. And the other one is a patrol, which is generally buggy. Let's go on a monster hunt. Monster hunts could be anything from hilariously easy to terrifyingly dangerous, depending on what you actually run into. Moderately dangerous, because what we're looking at here is not, in fact, a Federation light cruiser, but instead an Andromedan vessel, which is equipped with all kinds of crazy weapon systems that you do not want to get involved with. There's no point in attempting to prepare most of our defenses, so what we can instead do is just mob him with fighters, and he doesn't really have much of a solution for it. So we will start to forward chill reinforcement as soon as I can press the little tiny button. Max that out and prepare for basically just a head-on pass. Most of these times these ships don't have any sort of point defense system on board, nor do they have a shuttle bay most of the time. So we should have a fairly easy shot of just driving on in and either beating the crap out of them through just sheer firepower, which we kind of do have, or we can rely a little bit more on the fighters and let the fighters sort of duke it out like that. It might be a little bit more dangerous of a proposition to attempt to pull off. But we could give it a shot. Wait for the probe to get some accurate information on our little tiny frigate buddy. Right. Yeah, I was expecting that. So it's just him all on his lonesome. And we will increase the speed of time because I think we can just basically bulldoze him. I may not even bother with the fighters. So as he sort of zigzags back and forth, maybe I should set my... I'm tempted to put my SI plasma torpedoes to penetrator mode. Because as they're set right now, it's kind of pointless because they're just going to burn all over the ship, which will hit all 6 shields, but that reduces the amount of damage that I'm dealing directly on the front. So there is an argument to be made to just setting all systems to penetrator mode and just letting that annihilate the target. It does apparently have a form of a shuttle bay, which I thought Andromedan ships didn't, but I guess they do now. And because it's just me and you and nobody else, I'm going to fire both just to sort of promote you to attempt to crash stop. His maximum range shot did not affect my forward shields much at all. And are you going to respond to the incoming plasma? I will know shortly. And if you don't... Okay, good hookup. Oh, actually, no, one of them managed to miss 2 shots in a row. And fire the plasma. Only got 2 shots, which is a bit unfortunate. But he's already used his pusher polar beam, so I'm not too worried about it. Yeah, didn't even need to deploy the fighter squadron. Although I'm a little bit surprised why so many of my phasers didn't fire. I know for a fact that top phaser can shoot. What's wrong with you? Oh, I didn't want to fire unless it had a written invitation. Unless... Are you not selected? Oh my god. I have not had one of my most powerful phaser mounts selected this entire time. Please die. Yeah. By almost, you mean totally, right? Fire another couple of aft-fired plasma torpedoes because they're really good at that. And that took a lot longer than I thought it was going to. I thought he had a wild weasel somehow, but his shuttle bay had been destroyed by that point. So yeah, nice little monster hunt for a little bit of prestige on top of that. Should help us continue to maintain the vessel as we move on. And we are going to start moving on. 268 prestige is a job well done. Bob, continue to move forward. Negotiation, not familiar with it, don't have much. Oh yes, that's the counter one. That's the diplomatic patrol escort delivery that except from the other side, which makes it really, really irritating. Because all they have to do is just maximum speed it to the target. Okay, plasmas to enveloping. And forward shield reinforcement. We are of course going to require some form of a wild weasel. That'll be very important. And electronic countermeasure I could start charging, but I don't feel like there's much of a rush. We're just gonna go like that. Oh good, are you Klingon? Well, you're obviously Romulan because you're in Romulan space. But it could be Klingon. Yeah, it's a K-10, so it's a B-10 battleship except Romulanized, which makes it really dangerous. I don't know what you're packing in terms of point defense. Hopefully nothing. 2. 4. Right, so you're just as well endowed in terms of point defense systems as your buddy. So what I'm going to do is we're going to absolutely mob you with fighters. That's going to be a thing that's about to happen to you.
Target confirmed.
So we'll send all of our fighters on a bit of a suicide run, and if we're lucky, nobody will actually die. If we're unlucky, then everybody's about to die. So I need to pick up some speed. I need some serious speed to start dodging around these plasmas. The twin R-type plasma torpedo is just not a pleasant thing to have to fight. And a little bit of light fire onto our fighter squadrons, and he's launched his own fighter squadrons, which is less than ideal. And I need to start preparing to pull on away as fast as we can. We're going to be a little bit aggressive with this one. And... PPD. And pseudo-torpedo, and break off. Okay, so he's reinforcing his forward shield rather significantly. The defensive point defense, 141 damage dealt on through, and then another 145 damage. And there's a crash stop, and even more, and his D-type plasma torpedoes are ripping into my people quite heavily. And I'm going to fire a little bit of a parting barrage. Ugh, you already killed one of them. I should have expected that to happen. I need to get you back home. Well, that didn't work out. Well, it did in some ways, but in other ways, not so much. Because I'm down to a single squadron of fighters. Less than ideal. We did manage to absolutely murder a dreadnought. It just means that my field range is a little bit less. So, yeah, we're probably going to have to go home for more fighters, or we could press on and just try and be super aggressive. It may be a good idea to sell the ship, just in order to get our hands on a bit more of a nimble, aggressive battle cruiser, rather than something that's so dependent on the consumable. Not quite sure which direction I'm going to take that in, because we're starting to push out towards Klingon, or Federation space, which would be really fun to start getting some variety away from the plasma. But that's going to do it for today's episode. I have been Turek. If you like what you've been seeing, hit that like button and subscribe. Before I see a notification every time I post a video, make sure that you press that little bell icon. Leave leave a comment, and do join us for our streams on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 4 o'clock Eastern Time US. We play a game called Battletech, which is another 1980s board game that got turned into a computer game. Specifically, we play a mod of it called Rogue Tech, which is even more like tabletop than sort of the vanilla video game that they created out of it became. So if you enjoy it, if that's at all interesting to you, then make sure you swing on by. We'd love to have you, and I will see you all in the next episode.